Mortal Kombat has introduced several horror characters into the franchise which have made me bust. Very recently, another slasher, Ghostface, has been added to Mortal Kombat 1. This seems like the perfect time to look back at all the horror DLC and rank them. Now of course, we need to go back and look at the very first horror DLC, Freddy Krueger in Mortal Kombat 9. Mortal Kombat 9 did a very good job representing Freddy Krueger. Even though gaming was not as advanced, they still managed to implement a lot of his horror abilities, and he has a perfect and terrifying design. I really love his combos and how fluid his gameplay is. Now his babality, absolutely cursed. It is so cursed, I don't even want to talk about it. However, his fatalities don't really meet my expectations. They are great fatalities, but one of Freddy's main abilities is being able to create anything in the dream realm. This means anything, and bro creates an incinerator that he throws you in. Dog, if I was able to make anything, I'm making a whole jigsaw trap. So I feel like it wasn't as creative as it could have been. And taking your opponent into the underworld, that is a pretty fire fatality, I can't even lie. Oh yeah, and his x-ray, absolute garbage, let's be real. He gives some love to your chest meat and then slaps you. That is not an x-ray. Freddy Krueger as a character alone is just really sick. So just off that, he deserves the A tier. I do think he could have been done a little bit better, but he still earns his place at a high rank. Next up is my boy!
Jason Voorhees.
I don't think there's anyone who hates him in MKX, unless you're fighting against him. Mortal Kombat perfectly captured Jason's essence. Dog, he's just a character that you want to keep using. His combos with the machete was always sick. You just feel so strong playing as Jason, dude. His brutality is some of the most brutal things I've seen in the whole Mortal Kombat franchise. I mean, breaking backs, twisting necks, this guy's on demon time. Now I assume you don't remember his x-ray. Let me jog your memory. A machete to your gullet. And then his fatalities, really putting the slasher name to work here. In his second one, you lose all your limbs. I mean, they perfectly implemented this character. There's nothing bad about this character. He obviously goes in S tier. Next up, also in MKX, Now I love myself some Predator. Ever since that Predator vs Wolverine
We do not care.
The use of his green sauce, especially his gadgets, I think are just so cool. If I remember correctly, he was getting a lot of hate when he first came out, but I think he was done really well. Now his X-ray is the most brutal thing out of his kit. I also really love his brutalities because he uses a lot of his gadgets in it. Now when it comes to his fatalities, I think it's okay, it's not terrible. But I really think they missed the opportunity of having a fatality where Predator chases you down. I just feel like some of it's a bit stagnant. I do miss with the turret fatality, but his second one is kind of boring. They did get a majority of his character done quite well, so he definitely deserves A tier. We got next,
Leatherface.
Leatherface and Jason, easily my most favorite characters. Leatherface was just a scary guy to fight. I mean, his whole gameplay was just devious. He's incredibly brutal, which is up there with Jason, and he's completely sadistic. I need to start with his fatalities. They are so gross. I mean, gross as in cool, but like, damn, his brutalities too, man. You can catch my boy twerking on that chainsaw. Now his gameplay overall is just fun. You're playing as a crazy guy with a chainsaw. I mean, that is really fun. You literally play as the embodiment of a crash out. Enough has been said, this is an easy one, S tier. Now we got
Alien.
I'll be honest, Alien's pretty disgusting. I peeped out Romulus like, I don't know, a few days ago. It's disgusting, bro. Like, I kept feeling something in my chest just randomly. Rather than being brutal and scary, this character is really creepy. They portrayed it very well though, especially through his fatalities. Now his combos, yeah, it's okay, it's not terrible. I think it's just because I'm not really a big fan of Alien. I know it doesn't make sense because I like Predator, I don't know, fatalities are just so gruesome. Like, they're cool, but it's also like, who hurt bro? You know what I mean? Who hurt him? His combos, they are very jumpy, very springy, if you get what I mean, and that's what you'd expect from an Alien. So I have to give props, they've obviously done their research and made this character really cool. So I'm gonna have to put him in A tier. Next we've got
The Joker.
I know, he's not even a horror movie character, but he has done some diabolical, shambolic stuff. Y'all know what I'm talking about, the Killing Joke. He is disgusting, so he deserves to be on this list. I do have to admit, this Joker design does look kind of weird. This looks like Joker after maybe a hair transplant, maybe some Botox injections, and then he's like pulled up. It's still not terrible though, it's still a pretty good design. Now, I really think he earned his place in MK11. His gameplay, it is quite brutal and very fun. The whole basis of his character in the game, he's just playing jokes on the whole roster. And his fatality is absolutely mental, man. And the second one's even worse. Bro thinks he's Ghostface now. And his brutalities are also crazy because he's absolutely loving every minute of it. Friendship, it's also very Peaky Blinders. Bro pulls out the Tommy gun and just goes crazy. To be fair, that's probably the least brutal part about his whole gameplay. He definitely earns B tier. Now, of course, he ain't touching my goats Jason and Leatherface, but he's not as terrible as we all remember. And now, most recently,
Ghostface.
we've had Homelander, Omni-Man, Peacemaker, and I still think this is the best guest character in MK1. Yes, he's just a sucker with a knife, but he's so good in this game. The detail on his gameplay is amazing. He really went all out. Having 3 ghost faces in his gameplay, frying pan, fatal blow, his combos are just vicious as is. Taking a guy with a knife and really made him a fully fleshed out character. And those brutalities, easily the most brutal out of this whole list. And his fatalities are just pure violence. No matter who gets hit with the fatality, Johnny's always catching collateral damage. I mean, this is how you do a character. It really showed out. His dialogue as well, man. So many horror references, so many Scream movie references. They've made him so interesting, and I love that they added this much detail. Especially Cobra and Kira coming back through the Ghostface mantle, that's just heat. Look, off everything, Ghostface is easy S tier. This is not recency bias, he definitely earns that S tier. So this is the complete list, everything that I think. This is all my opinion. I'm still definitely gonna get cooked, I already see it in the comments. I'd say this is a fair list. Some of y'all might agree, some of y'all might not. Anyways, thank you, love you, appreciate you.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.